Crowfall is an MMORPG with a heavy emphasis on PvP and guild versus guild combat. It is currently in a closed beta and will be launching sometime soon. That's not confirmed, but most people in the community think it'll be sometime this year. One thing that Crowfall has always suffered from was getting new players into combat and having them enjoy the best part of the game, which is the PvP. Currently, to get into the meaningful PvP, you need to level a character all the way to max level, join Infected, which is the starter world PvP, low risk, low reward zone for players to get a feel for their game, learn their character, understand how PvP actually works. Once people get their fill of Infected, they go into Dregs, which is the end game guild vs guild hardcore game mode of the game. What normally happens is a solo player or a small group of friends will join this world and then get absolutely stomped by a larger established guild or a larger group, which then leads them to normally quit the game because there really isn't anything else for that small group to do. They can go back to Infected, they can farm, or they can try to join a bigger guild, but really there's nothing really for them to do at that moment, right? They still are learning the game, they're still trying to understand it, and they get discouraged, so they normally end up leaving. This is where Hungerdome comes in. Crowfall's way of allowing people to learn and have fun in PvP without the hardcore nature of Dregs. In this video, we'll be discussing everything known about Hungerdome, what it is, how you play it, the rules and details, and what it means for Crowfall going into the future. Before we jump into a video, I wanted to let you know I stream every single day at 6 p.m. Eastern over on my Twitch channel. We play a lot of Crowfall, but we also play some other things such as like Valheim and Smite and other PvP MMOs that are going to be coming out. That sounds fun. Make sure you go over there and drop a follow. I'd really appreciate it. We have a really good time over there. It's a lot of fun. So what is Hungerdome? It's a queuable arena style game mode with MMO, MOBA, and BR influences that puts 12 teams of 5 against each other. Using your MMO character or a predefined archetype character, you join a game, you can loot mobs and towns for gear, and fight against other players in a closing circle that shrinks the battlefield until one team is left. So it's got your MMO influences since you can build a character using the current classes, talents, and disciplines in the game. MOBA influences since there's special items you can only get inside of Hungerdome and there's mobs to kill around the map. And the BR influence because, you know, closing circle, last team standing, BR, you know? So how do you play Hungerdome? Well, right now it's currently in a testing phase with limited playtime. If you own the game already, you can download the test client and wait for the developers to say something in Discord about Hungerdome going live. But once the testing phase is over and pushed to the live client, it'll be up just like the normal game. You can queue into it with a group of friends and get some Crowfall PvP quick and easy, which is a huge difference from the way the MMO currently plays. When you're on the lobby screen, you'll now see this Hungerdome UI element. If you want to play alone, you can just go ahead and click the play button and you'll be put into matchmaking. The game will start once you have 60 players. There's also an Elo system that will help place you in the proper matches to play with people of your skill level. You can track your Elo in the top left corner by this number. The number will go up and down based on winning and losing. We aren't sure of everything that affects Elo, but once we do find out, I'll make a video and link that in the top right little eye icon for you. Also, there's a party system. You can click a plus button in the top left corner of the lobby UI, enter in the account name of the person that you want to join your group. They will receive an invite on their screen, and you can have up to 5 players in your group. Once you've assembled your group, the party leader can hit play to enter you into the queue. Eventually, you'll be able to queue and play other parts of the game, such as Infected, Dregs, or you can craft and harvest, but for right now, you have to stay in the lobby. Okay, so now you know how to play it, but what is the game mode actually like? What are the rules? When your queue pops, you and your team will be taken to the character select screen. You will be assigned one of the 12 gods and represent that god in the arena. You can select any character that you have built for the MMO, as long as it's level 30 or higher. Or you can select a pre-made archetype character. This way, if you're just checking out Hungerdome and want to jump right into it, you have something to play right away instead of having to level a character to max level. Each team can consist of only 2 tanks and 2 supports, but there is no limit on the amount of DPS characters you can have. So essentially, you could run all 5 DPS, or you could run 1 tank, 1 healer, and 3 DPS. There's lots of different combos you can do. But what you can't do is duplicate promotions. So each class in the game has 3 promotions that it can select while leveling up your talent tree. Say for instance, you're a swordsman knight, no one else on your team can be a swordsman knight, which is great because there would be some massively broken comps if this wasn't the case. Once your team selects its characters, you'll be put in the match and spawn at your god's outpost. There's a 2-minute prep period where players can make sure their action bar is set up properly and can make a plan for the fight ahead. All players start with base weapons, a mount, and a beheading axe. The map is made up of many points of interest. You have 12 outposts, 8 forts, 4 keeps, and 1 castle in the center. Outposts, forts, keeps, and castles serve as a resurrection point for your team. As long as you own a resurrection point, you can respawn. Even if your entire team dies, you still have a chance to get back in the game as long as you control a resurrection point. The match will go through 4 different seasons: spring, summer, fall, and winter. Each season will last 8 minutes with a day-night cycle of 4 minutes. So daytime's 4 minutes, nighttime's 4 minutes. Winter will last 10 minutes, adding an extra 2 minutes to the very end of the match. Each season represents where the circle is on the map and the resurrection points that are still available. So in spring, all resurrection points are still available as the circle hasn't closed in on them yet. But by the end of spring, all 12 outposts will be consumed by the circle, leaving just forts, keeps, and castles. This pattern follows into summer, fall, and winter. Once you get into fall, you can no longer spawn at forts. Once you get into winter, you can no longer spawn at keeps. So essentially, your party needs to make sure as the circle is shrinking, you have a resurrection point for the upcoming season. That's not all the points of interest. There are also towns on the map that have mobs that drop gear for your party. Inside of the houses in the towns, there will also be chests with gear in them. Also, there's a merchant on the map that you can purchase items from. Items in the Hunger Dome are balanced and scaled differently than the MMO. Also, there are items completely unique to Hunger Dome that aren't in the MMO. For instance, there's a necklace that allows you to see all stealth characters while you have it equipped. The balancing and scaling of the items inside of Hunger Dome are changed because you don't want a bunch of level 35s rolling around killing new players. Here we'll be able to help these new players match the stats of those max level characters. When you die, you only drop the things in your inventory and your jewelry. You keep your armor and your weapons. This was confirmed by the developers to work this way because losing all of the items was too punishing and there was no way to get back into the fight after you die. If everyone on your team dies, as long as you still have a resurrection point, you still have a chance at winning. Once all members of your team die and you have no more resurrection points, you lose. You can stay in crow form and spectate the rest of the match, or you can quit the lobby and get into another queue. But what does this mean for Crowfall in the long run? Well, I think it's too early to tell, but I'm going to make some guesses. What I think is that this will bring a lot of new players to the game. Players will be able to enjoy the best parts of the game, which is PvP, without the time commitment and fear of the hardcore guilds rolling them in the endgame. This will prevent players from outright quitting the game if they have no friends or a guild to lean on. I also think this will help the MMO grow since players will want to build characters to be able to perform better in Hunger Dome, which hopefully gets them hooked into the MMO part of the game and thus increasing population in those game modes. Overall, it will be a net positive for the game going forward. I know personally there are nights on stream where content is lacking due to low player population or waiting for the next Dregs campaign. But now I can just jump into Hunger Dome and keep the action going. Now this is a new game mode, so there will be some balancing and bug fixing needed, but I think this will be a strong showing of what makes Crowfall great. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. If you're interested in picking up Crowfall, I have a 10% discount code in the description down below. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, like, and share it, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace and love, everybody. Peace and love.